Hey there nation, and welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander Cheapskate, and we are back with another episode of Cheap Shots. This is the series that we help you to save money on the miniatures wargaming hobby, and on today's episode we're going to talk about using Kill Team box sets in your games of Necromunda. So, as you guys have been noticing on my channel, I've been doing a lot of episodes of Cheap Shots focusing on this topic of using different box sets from different gaming systems to be used in Necromunda. And the reason why is because the narrative of Necromunda is such a wild and drastically different background than anything in the 40k universe. You can pretty much fit almost any kind of box set of miniatures you want to fit in that narrative setting and use in your games of Necromunda. And with Kill Team box sets coming more and more prevalent now from Games Workshop with some really beautiful sculpts and some really neat concepts for those different kill teams, a lot of players have been wondering like how you can use these same box sets in games of Necromunda, and that's the whole purpose of this series, is to show you guys how to use one single box set of miniatures for different gaming systems. Because at the end of the day, the ultimate dream of a wargamer, in my opinion anyways, is to be able to use the same miniatures for multiple gaming systems, so that way you save money on the miniature wargaming hobby and actually experience a lot of different games that you could use your gang for. So today's episode we're focusing on the Blooded, which is basically a Traitor Guardsmen box set from Games Workshop's Warhammer 40,000 Kill Team. As you can see, they have a really cool looking aesthetic going on. The last time that we saw Traitor Guardsmen being made by Games Workshop was from the board game Warhammer Quest Blackstone Fortress. They actually have quite a bit of Traitor Guardsmen in that starting box set as well, in fact. And this guy here, which is supposed to be a corrupted Commissar as well as a Chaos Corrupted Ogryn, were actually part of one of the expansion box sets for that gaming system. And then when Kill Team became was relaunched with a new edition, they brought in this Blooded Kill Team over here with these really unique sculpts, as well as including the Commissar as well as the Ogryn in this Kill Team as well. So what we're going to talk about in this video, we're going to talk about the narrative, how you can actually fit these guys, narratively speaking, into a game of Necromunda, just in case you run into any haters who would say you can't do this. And at the same time, we'll also provide you a starting roster of 2,000 credits for this gang, as well as show you how to use this gang on the tabletop in your games of Necromunda. Now, this video will be a little bit more of a deeper dive, so because of that, I will put descriptions and the time stamps below in the description box, so that way you guys can just navigate as you want to the different parts of the video that seems appropriate to you. So with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about how to use your Kill Team Blooded box sets in games of Necromunda. Alright, so the first thing we're talking about is how would this gang narratively fit within the setting of Necromunda. Now, the reason why I talk about this is because, unfortunately, there are some naysayers out there who would say that you shouldn't be able to use this box set in games of Necromunda. I've actually had some people actually comment that on my videos as well. So to bypass that criticism, let's talk about narratively how this could work out. First of all, Necromunda does allow you to play a Helot Chaos Cultist gang, and there is no official box set for Helot Chaos Cultists for your games of Necromunda as of yet. So because of that, that's your one justification. You can say these are Chaos Cultists, and that's why I use them, because there are no official sculpts you can use right now for Games Workshop's games. So that's the reason why you can do that. Now, of course, you're going to have those sticklers, and they're going to demand why you can be able to do this, and this is how it's going to work. The reason why you should be able to use this, because at their core, this box set are made up of Traitor Guardsmen, which are Imperial Guardsmen who have been corrupted by the Chaos powers and have switched sides in order to join up with the Chaos forces against the Imperium. It just so happens that Necromunda, like all the Imperial planets in this setting, also has regiments of Imperial Guardsmen that they offer up to assist the Empire in its war against Chaos forces. They're called the Necromundan 8th Regiment, is what they are known as, and they're also known as by their nickname, the Spiders, because that was a nickname that was given to them on Necromunda as well as by other Imperial Guardsmen regiments. The cool thing about that is that the Necromundan 8th Regiment, also known as the Spiders, which are the planetary defense forces of Necromunda, wear tan and gray uniforms with black anti-fragmentation flak armor on top. So if you look at the way these guys are painted up, these guys are wearing black and gray as well as brown, and they also have black body armor. So you could tell your players, if you're painting up your guys this way, you can tell them like these guys are just renegades, members of the Necromunda 8th Regiment. They became Chaos Corrupted, and now they're organizing as a freelance gang in Necromunda, being deserters, and that's pretty much how it works. So because of that, not many gaming groups will, of course, will be sticklers like this. They'll probably let you use whatever you want on the tabletop, because let's face it, most wargamers are pretty chill about that kind of thing, because everyone knows miniatures are expensive, and using the same miniatures for multiple games is awesome if you can do that. So I don't think you're really going to run into an issue involving that, but just in case if someone wants to raise a stink about it, you can use that as your ammunition as to why these guys would work so well within Necromunda. And plus, just look at them. Tell me that you wouldn't want to use these miniatures on your game anyways. I mean, they look absolutely fantastic. So now that we're done talking talking about the narrative background, how this gang would actually come about being in the game of Necromunda, let's go ahead and talk about the gang list that you can make with this box set and how best to use it on the tabletop. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about your guys' gang roster for your campaigns in Necromunda. This is going to be a Helot Chaos Cult gang using Aranthian Succession campaign rules where you have 2,000 credits to build your gang. And you'll be using all the miniatures of this box set in order to make this gang as well. Now, another thing to keep in mind when it comes to your Helot Chaos gang using the Aranthian Succession, if you do decide to go out into the Ash Wastes, you do get additional 400 credits in order to purchase vehicles, but since this box set doesn't come with any vehicles, we're just going to assume that you want to stay in the Underhive because buying vehicles would be another expense on top of this. I mean, you can easily do it if you want to, and I got videos talking about how to make cheap vehicles for the Ash Waste. You can check it out here in my Cheap Shots playlist. But for that, we're just going to assume that you're going to want to stay in the Underhive with these guys, and that's the assumption I'm going with when I make this list. So let's talk about exactly who will make up your gang. First of all, your Traitor Chieftain, which is this guy over here with the back pole with the spikes on it, the Chainsword, the pistol. That's going to be your cult Demagogue, which is the leader of your gang, who's going to cost you 200 credits. This guy's going to be equipped with mesh armor for 15 credits, so that way he has a 5-up armor save. He's got a Lasgun on his back, and the reason why is so that way he can do some long-range shooting. His primary weapons, though, are using a Chainsword as well as an Autopistol with Manstopper rounds for 20 credits for that. That way you have a Strength 4 shooting attack that you could also use in close combat and pair with your Chainsword, and if you're taking on targets from further away, you can use a Lasgun in order to do that as well. Now, the last thing to have, of course, is a Chaos Familiar, which is a great unit to have for each of your characters because you take a willpower test. What ends up happening is that you don't get shot at. Any shot that's going towards your leader basically misses because the Chaos Familiar kind of warns your guy ahead of time, which is going to keep your Demagogue alive a lot farther. And since your gang is dedicated to the Architect of Fate, which is the Chaos God's niche, what ends up happening is that your Chieftain becomes a Psyker, and at the same time also has access to psychic disciplines. The one I would recommend for you is to use Telepathy, and the reason why I would recommend using Telepathy is because that way you can get the Fearful Aura discipline trait, which means that your enemies have to pass willpower tests in order to charge your Demagogue in close combat, kind of like the same way that Corpse Grinders are protected that way. And also get the Unbreakable will power as well, so that way you can transfer the Chieftain's higher cool as well as willpower scores to fighters within 9 inches of him. Unfortunately, the psychology stats of a Helot Chaos gang is not very good, so having that Unbreakable will is going to help you out. At the same time, having that Unbreakable will help kind of trigger your Cult Witch as well and give them a little bit better willpower test in order for them to actually get off that power. So you're basically using your leader as more support, making sure that your fighters stay in the fight and they don't run away. The Chaos Familiar will also allow them to re-roll those willpower tests in case you fail the first time, so that's also a really nice option right there for your Cult Demagogue. After that, your Traitor Enforcer will be your Cult Witch. Now, this guy here, which is the Commissar, is called a Traitor Enforcer in the game of Kill Team. This guy will be your Cult Witch. He's going to cost you 205 credits. First of all, you're going to equip this guy with Mesh Armor 15 credits, as well as a Servo Claw for 35, so that way he's got that little close combat attack right there. At the same time, also giving an Autopistol with Manstopper rounds as a shooting attack, so that way he's got 4 Strength 4 shooting attacks, and he can also use in close combat as well. Now, granted, this guy's armed with a Bolt Pistol in the game of Kill Team, but you can always just say it's an Autopistol until you can actually get a Bolt Pistol for your leader. Now, you're going to equip this guy with a Chaos Familiar for 25 credits, and the reason why is so once again, he can pass those willpower tests to prevent him from being shot at and to protect your fighter. And at the same time, you can do that so that in case you fail your psychic tests, you can re-roll that with the psychic Chaos Familiar. You're also going to give him a cult icon as well, and you can easily say that the little spikes on his back is the cult icon for your gang. That way is a larger group activation. So instead of just activating one fighter, he can activate 2 fighters, which is going to make him kind of like a little bit of a mini champion. Now, you're going to give him the Fixer skill because you automatically come with the skill as ready, so that way it can help you get more credits as well as the campaign develops. You could switch it out with the ability to reroll failed ammo rolls if you want to, but since most of the gang have pretty average to low ammo rolls, it's not going to really be a big focus for you. But the major part I want to give this guy is the Telekinesis ability, so that way he has Fists of Fury, which gives him strength bonuses for close combat attacks, as well as Force Shield, so that way he can increase everyone's armor save around him in the 3 inches by 1 additional point to make him have a little bit tougher armor save. And that's going to be your Cult Witch for this guy. Now you're going to have 2 Traitor Gunners in this one. You have 2 Cult Disciples. The first one is your Traitor Gunner, which is this guy over here with the plasma gun. It's going to cost you 250 credits. He's going to have mesh armor, and the box it does let you use flamers and grenade launchers if you want to, so you can't start off with a plasma gun, unfortunately, for a Chaos Cult gang, so I would go with a flamer because you're going to use this guy for close assault anyways. He's going to have an Autopistol Manstopper rounds for backup weapon, as well as a Chaos Familiar, so that way he gets a reroll to make sure he doesn't get shot at by your opponent, and give him Nerves of Steel because he will be shot at quite a bit. So passing that cool test is going to make him get back on his feet again, so that way he can set people on fire with his flamer. Your second cult disciple will be your Traitor Brimstone Grenadier, which is let's see here. This guy is, let me see if I can find this guy over here throwing the grenade. Now you can put this guy with the grenade launcher. What you're gonna do is you're gonna take the grenade launcher from the sprue that was meant for this guy and use it for this guy's arms instead, so that way you can use the grenade launcher. It's gonna have frag and crack grenades. It's gonna have mesh armor for 5 up armor save, as well as an auto pistol with Manstopper rounds for a backup weapon and a close combat attack. You give him a Chaos Familiar, so that way he can protect himself from being shot by passing a willpower test, and you give him the Overwatch ability because interrupting an enemy's activation with a grenade launcher is just too much fun, and that's what you give this guy over here. Now from there, you're going to go to your next guy, who's going to be your Helot Chaos Cult Specialist. This guy's going to be your Traitor Sharpshooter, which is this guy over here with the long last is what this actually is, but he's going to be your Helot Cultist Specialist. He's going to cost you 140 credits. He's going to have mesh armor for that 5 armor save, as well as a long rifle, which is what he's using here, with an infra sight. So that way you can hit at long distances. You can shoot in pitch black conditions. You can shoot through smoke. Enemies that don't actually benefit from partial cover, you'll be able to take them out on longer ranges. He's going to have an auto pistol with Manstopper rounds for a backup weapon, and he'll be your gang's specialist. So that's going to be what the Sharpshooter does for your gang. Now, for the rest of your fighters, talk about your Butcher, which is this guy here with the 2 cleavers right over here. That guy's going to be a Helot Cultist. It's going to cost 130 credits. He's got mesh armor for 5 up armor save, an auto pistol with Manstopper rounds for shooting attack, as well as an axe for close combat. So you can see how you got those equipment there. And you give him blasting charges because it's a 5-inch blast template at strength 5, causing 2 damage. Really, really powerful blasting ability. So you can equip this guy with that way. Your Traitor Flincer, which is this guy over here, right next to him with the knives. He's going to be another Chaos Cultist. He's going to have 125 credits for his cost. He's got mesh armor as well as an auto pistol with Manstopper rounds for 20 credits, so that way he's a strength 4 shooting attack. He also has a sword for close combat. If you want to, you can pair him up with another sword as the campaign develops, and once again giving him blasting charges to lob grenades at your enemies. And then of course your next guy is your Traitor Thug, which is this guy over here with this improvised maul, this guy over here. He's going to be another Helot Cultist. It's going to cost 140 credits. He's got mesh armor for a 5 armor save, auto pistol with Manstopper rounds for strength 4 shooting attack. He's also going to use a double-handed hammer for his close combat attacks, and he's also got blasting charges as well. When you actually use these 3 guys in your games, they'll actually take points, so that way they can allow blasting charges to really suppress your opponents for the most part. Now your next fighter is going to be your Traitor Trench Sweeper. That's this guy here with the shotgun and the shield. That's going to be this guy here. This guy's going to cost 130 credits. He's got mesh armor for 5 up armor save, a shotgun with solid scatter ammo for 30 credits, an auto pistol with Manstopper rounds for a backup weapon, as well as frag grenades for 30 credits. As the campaign develops, I highly suggest you buy him a Ceramite shield, which can be represented by this shield he's carrying here, so that way you can take additional armor saves and at the same time take point and wreck face and frag grenades for obvious reasons. Your Traitor Corpseman, which is actually one of these guys back over here. I believe it's either this guy here or this over here, which is funny because they call him a Traitor Corpseman, which is basically a play on worlds like the Marine Corpsman, which is the guy who actually patches you up. But anyways, he's a Helot Cultist for 115 credits. He's got mesh armor as well as a Lasgun, as well as an auto pistol with Manstopper rounds for a backup weapon, and he's also got frag grenades too. And then of course you have your Traitor Trooper, which is either this guy here or this guy up here in the front. That guy's going to be another Cultist, costing 115 credits. He's equipped exactly the same way as a Corpsman, with mesh armor, Lasgun, auto pistol with Manstopper rounds, as well as frag grenades. And for the first time ever, you're not going to have a Rogue Doc in this list. And the reason why is because what you're going to really want is something to soak up bullet shots from your more fragile Helot Cultists. So what you're going to do instead, you're going to actually recruit a Brute. You're going to recruit your Traitor Ogryn, which is this guy here. You're going to get the Mutated Ogryn, which is available from the Apocrypha files that you can download from the Warhammer Community website. It allows you to actually have a Mutated Ogryn, who actually serves Chaos Helot Cultists. He's going to cost you 275 credits. You can equip him in Furnace Plates, that way he's got that buff to his armor save. Power Maul, because that's what he's packing here. Horrific Appendages, because that's what he's packing here. You also got the Murderous Brute ability, which allows you to take Ferocity skills. You're going to give this guy Nerves of Steel because he's going to be shot at quite a bit. So escaping pinning by taking a cool test is really going to help him out. He's got Slow-Witted, unfortunately, so he's going to be a little bit lower on the updraw for actually getting experience points, but that's okay though, because he has True Grit, which is going to make him last longer on the tabletop. This guy's going to take point, and he's going to wreck face on your opponents as well. So now that we're done talking about your gang list, let's talk about your gang overview real quick. So this is how you're going to lay out your gang. You're going to have Assault Fire Team number 1, which consists of your Traitor Chieftain, which is this guy here, as well as your Butcher, your Flincer, and your Thugs, which are these 3 guys over here. Your Assault Fire Team number 2 will consist of your Traitor Gunner, which will be this guy who's armed with a Flamer, as well as your Traitor Trench Sweeper, which is this guy with a shotgun over here. Assault Fire Team number 3 is going to consist of your Traitor Enforcer, which is this guy here, is going to be your Witch, as well as your Ogryn, which is over here. And then, of course, you have your two support fire teams. Fire team number 1 is going to consist of your Grenadier, which is this guy here, is going to be armed with a grenade launcher, as well as your Sharpshooter, so that we can do group activation with that Sniper. And the support fire team number 2 will consist of your Corpsmen, as well as your Trooper, and they're going to be just your general fighters for that gang as well. So these are the 4 fire teams that this gang will actually create. Now that we're done talking about your gang roster and what's going to consist of it, let's talk about exactly how you're going to use this gang on the tabletop in your games of Necromunda. Alright, so now that we're done talking about your gang list, let's talk about exactly how you use this gang on the tabletop with the gang overview. So as you can see here, I got a little bit of a strip map over here, and let's talk about the key real quick. So your hexagons here will represent your enemy forces, which your enemy will, if he's smart, will divide up his gang into fire teams to try to counter you, and down over here is your fire teams. This is pretty much how you'll deploy. You'll definitely put your support fire teams in one position, and they'll be either flanked by your assault fire teams on either the left or the right hand side, depending on what the conditions for the tabletop is. This is ideally how you pretty much want to run your gang, if all possible. So as you can see, we got our assault fire teams. And back over here, I have the abbreviations for the little circles that represent each of your different fighters. So let's talk about exactly how this would work. So first of all, you're going to pretty much divide your force in half. So let's draw a little line here to kind of divide that line here. Your assault fire team number 2 and support fire team 1 and 2 will represent one half of your army, while the other half of your gang will consist of fire team number 3 as well as assault fire team number 1. So let's talk about what's going to happen first. First of all, what you're going to do is you're going to actually engage your enemy at distance using fire support team number 1, which consists of your Traitor Brimstone Grenadier, which is the guy's armed with a grenade launcher, as well as your Traitor Sharpshooter. What they're going to do is they're going to open fire on your enemy forces like this using long-range fire support in order to do this. Now, even though this is an assault fire team over here, the assault fire team doesn't really go on the offense too much. Yeah, they'll move up forward, getting closer to your enemy if possible in order to engage your enemy, but the real reason why these guys exist is to do 2 things. The first thing they're going to do is they're going to provide security on the flank anyways of your fire support teams. I'm going to draw a little line like that. These guys are going to act to protect your flank of your support teams from being outflanked by these 2 enemy forces who might come from the right hand side. And because they got such short range weapons with their shotgun as well as their flamer, that's the reason why they're going to act as flank defense. At the same time, they'll also act as flank defense for this fire team over here. Now, while this first support fire team is moving out and suppressing your enemy, your second support fire team, which consists of your 2 guardsmen who are armed with lasguns, they're going to move up as well, so that way they get into an advantageous position to where they can actually catch your opponent in a crossfire. So what ends up happening is that your enemy fire teams are being attacked from 2 different directions with some longer range shooting and suppressing them, allowing this assault fire team to move up forward when it's appropriate. So once that fire team over here is located here, this assault fire team will move forward. Now, while this is happening, what you're going to do is you're going to take your other 2 assault fire teams over here and actually have them take assault. Your assault fire team number 3, which consists of your Traitor Enforcer and your Ogren, these guys are going to go on the far extreme flank as far as and fast as they can, using that psychic ability in order to give you guys additional armor saves for being shot at while that's happening. Meanwhile, assault fire team number 1 moves up in concert with assault fire team number 2. And the reason why that's going to be the case is because what's going to happen is that your butcher, as well as your flincher and your thug, are going to take point. These guys are armed with blasting charges, which are really powerful explosive attacks, and they're going to start suppressing your enemy by lobbing these blasting charges directly into your enemy's fire team. And what that's going to do is going to blow up guys and cause all kinds of hell. And what's going to happen is, of course, is that your Chieftain, of course, will provide long-range shooting power using their Lasgun in order to engage enemies at close to medium range. They can also defend themselves in close combat while it's happening. And while that's going on, by the way, what you're also going to do too is you're also going to protect these guys. I'm going to draw this little circle here like that. You're going to protect these guys by using your Unbreakable will ability, so that way they can stand the fight with psychology stats. Now, once you're, of course, set up, this is where you go in for the kill. Fire team number 3 will then sweep in forward. That's pretty much what they're going to do, hitting from the flank with your Enforcer providing psychic abilities in order to protect your Ogren. And your Ogren's going to go in there and he's going to start wrecking face by killing guys in close combat in concert with these assault teams moving forward. Assault team number 2 will do exactly the same thing. Your Gunner as well as your Trench Sweeper will then move in as well, using their close combat weapons, using Flamers, as with the same time using their shotgun to engage enemy in close combat. And then finally you just assault through with your support fire teams. They also move forward and assault through, and then before you know it, you got your enemy fully enveloped on 3 different sides and you're just taking them apart. Okay, and that's what you're gonna do with your blooded kill team. Now, if you notice, the tactic I use is actually quite similar between all of them. It basically requires fixing and flanking, where one half of your gang fixes your opponent by suppressing them with firing, while the other element of your gang goes in for the flanks. That's because that's how real life it happens. That's how you really kill people, is by overwhelming your enemy, maybe by catching them in crossfire if you can. And that's exactly how you're going to do this with your blooded kill team in your games of Necromunda. So there you guys have it. If you really enjoy playing Warhammer 40,000 Kill Team and you want to use your Blooded for other games besides Kill Team, I just gave you basically the rundown of how you could use the same box set for miniatures in your games of Necromunda. After all, these are really cool sculpts. They look really fantastic. And like I always keep on saying, there's not many gaming groups that will begrudge you for using your 40k Kill Team miniatures in games of Necromunda. I don't think a lot of them mind at all. And I hope this video helps you on your wargaming journey and give you some ideas and maybe even some inspiration for you to do exactly that by taking these guys onto the tabletop. So that's good for this, you guys. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is invaluable to me as always. Also feel free to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, as well as blogger.com for all the hobby news related to this channel. That's good for this week, guys. I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out and stay classy.